All right, here we are. I am in a 2008 STI. Boy, that's perfect timing, huh? What do we got? Hello, Donnie speaking. Okay, goodbye. All right. If you call me and I hear a fucking call center behind you and you wait 5 seconds to fucking answer after I say hello, I just hang up. Not dealing with that shit. All right, so the question is the 20X a viable option STI? What do we get out of a 20X in an STI? Well, we get 2 liters instead of 2.5. That's if we start off, we get that. And with a 2 liter comes stronger main bearings, actually. Stronger mains. The ability to handle more pressure at the crankshaft, which is something that not few people know about the 2 liter versus the 2.5. We also have less displacement. That's a given, right? We have less displacement, which means it takes more boost to make the same power, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so what we're doing here is I've been running this car today. It wasn't running very good initially, but it appeared that it had an issue with the fuel being old. Apparently, the fuel had been in this car for a couple of years before the owner decided what to do with it. And he came to Tier 1, and he said, I got this car, it's broke, don't know what to do, with it. And they said, well, since everything is broken on it, because it was completely wasted, heads, everything, like you need an entire long block, and getting an entire long block is freaking expensive. And it should probably be like 14 grand. His turbo was shot, like everything was shot. The turbo was like, was the housings were the only thing holding the shaft in, like the interference between the housing and the wheels is what was keeping the shaft inside the turbo. That's how bad it was. So you would need a turbo, you need, engine, and you name it, you needed all of it. And so Lane was like, hey, why not just do a 20X? And he knows how much I hate them. To clarify, I don't hate them because they're 2 liters. I hate them because people always put them in wrong. They don't do the right thing during the install. They don't get rid of the ABCS, or they don't sorry, I'm trying to tune while I talk. They don't swap the right components over, and that kind of stuff. So there's a bunch of people that just plain do it wrong. And when they do it wrong, it makes it a pain in the rear for any tuner to try and tune, because it's just going to be a challenge the entire time. So everything's broken, I got to stop the tune again. I got to go say, hey man, this solenoid doesn't work. Hey man, this whatever doesn't work. And it's just like this nonstop battle. And often the guys that do that, get the 20Xs are guys that can't afford to fix it. So when there's a problem, like, oh, well, can you tune around it? Can you just make it work, right? And that's not the way I do things. I don't like doing shit like that. So I've said on Facebook numerous times, don't bring me your 20X. I don't want to see it. I don't want to tune it. I don't want to deal with it because it's probably installed wrong, and or you're probably not in a position to fix the rest of the stuff that's still wrong with it, because there's going to be shit wrong with it when it shows up. And that's always met with hostility. Often I'm sworn at. Many times I've been sworn at, even when I've been polite about it. I get sworn at like crazy by people. They take it really seriously, they do. And so yeah, so instead of dealing with it, I just said, nope, I just don't do them. I don't give reasons, anymore. I stopped giving reasons a while ago. I just don't do them. But if done right, is it good? And so that's our question today. If you do it right, can we have a good time with it? And so what we have here is a 20X in a 2009 STI with a Link G4 ECU. As you can see, running all the CAN bus stuff. I'm just trying to build an exhaust AVCS map with a lot of overlap in cruise I want this thing turned. Come on. A lot of overlap in cruise and not a lot on the top end here. So that's what I'm going through right now. Leaving a little bit of retard in up top and a lot of overlap in the cruise region to get good economy and reduced emissions, because those things are still important, even though we don't like the stuff the EPA has done. I especially hate those cocksuckers. I understand their mission, and I appreciate their mission. It's their execution that is way lacking, and their ability to be bought by people. That's an issue for me. Oh, anyways, what I'm doing here, I'm making a cam timing map for this 2-liter. I had screwed with it earlier today because it was giving me some problems. The car was giving me some problems, and I wanted to see, if it was this map. So here we go. We got tons of overlap going on, and this is probably a little too much up here, actually, with all that exhaust going on. Let's go 0 there. Let's see, we got 0 there. All right. Okay. There we go. Now, on this dyno, a 20X typically does about 270 wheel stage 2 up to 280 if they're full stage 2. And this car has a stock downpipe. So the question is, can I hit that 270, 280 with a stock downpipe? That's kind of where I'm at. Now, torque-wise, it's going to be less. That's just a given. It's 2 liters, just full turbo it's going to be less. But can the horsepower be higher? Technically, it should be. So this engine, this 20X, is a long one. It's got the STI manifold, STI turbo, STI exhaust, all factory, STI exhaust, and everything. So all we did was put a 2-liter in place of a 2.5 liter. It's got the quad ABCS. It is the 20X so just a bone stock 20X long block with all the STI stuff bolted to it. That's what we got. Hey, I got $10 from Miss Physical here. I don't know if you missed it. You were talking about the oil filter support for that build. Yeah, I did. I saw you said put me on the pre-order list, I think is what you said, right? I totally appreciate the $10 for one. Thank you very much. And yeah, I'm glad that you're excited about the filter. One of my customers 3D printed it for me, since my printer's broken, and he's mailing it to me. So I'm going to see if it fits. It's bigger than the factory filter. I mean, you saw the element alone. It's bigger than the factory filter. So on my block at home, there was room for what I made, but oh yeah, it rolled down inside my shirt. There was, maybe I'll stop it from rolling in. There was room on the block I had at home, but you got to try it with various different headers. Make sure that it fits, because it is bigger on than the factory one. Most headers clear the oil filter okay. There's plenty of room, but this is going to be a little tighter. It's like 1/3 of an inch bigger in diameter than the factory one. So it's not a lot bigger. I didn't make it an inch bigger, but it's about 1/3 of an inch bigger than the factory one. So I hope that it fits. Honestly, that's kind of what I'm fingers crossed. So like I said, he 3D printed me one. It's gonna be here tomorrow or the next day, and we'll see how good it goes. So why does a 2-liter have better main bearings? So this is something that not a lot of people realize. So if you look at the 2.5, look at any EJ, I should say that correctly. If you look at the EJ, what you'll see is that the main bearing, especially for main 2 and main 4, they straddle the cylinders, right? So both sides of main 2 and 4 are straddling the bore of 1 and 2. So like 1 and 2, the number 2 main is like hanging in mid-space. And on 3 and 4, number 4 main's hanging in space between the open cylinders. And the bigger the bore, like a 2.5's got a bigger bore, and it's a significant bore change between 92 and 99.5, right? Like that's a big change. So the bigger the bore, the more that strap is unsupported. So you see a lot of high horsepower 2.5 liters will crack or break number 2 or number 4 main from being flexed into the cylinder by the crankshaft pressure. Yeah, so that's why. So the 2-liter, smaller bore, there's less overhang. It's supported closer to the center. That's why it's stronger. Also, though, I don't want to give away something too much, but I may have fixed that problem. And by that, I mean like 100% fixed that problem. And that's all I'm going to say, because I got to test it, because I haven't done it yet. It's just in theory. I've done a lot of math around it. I think I've got it fixed. So once I get my car running again, I'm going to do this to it and let you guys know. Is that why I like D-stroke? Well, no. No. I mean, D-stroke has the benefit, and this is, you hardly ever hear anyone say a benefit, of lower cylinder pressure. Um, Due to lower displacement. But I mean, as you crank the power up, you get it, and the stroke is shorter. So the shorter stroke, that force that's being pressed down by the piston and the rod is closer to the main bearing. So I don't think it's a benefit in that regard for that. So no, that's not why I like the D-strokers. I like the D-strokers for the rod ratio. The rod is less angled on a D-stroker, so instead of the rod being like this when the crank is at 90, the rod's like this when the crank is at 90, right? There's a reduction in angle, and that reduction in angle puts force directly or closer, more directly, I can't even speak right now, in line with the journal, so you get better torque transfer to the crankshaft with a straighter rod. Also, you get a reduced vector of force from the piston skirt to the cylinder wall. If you think about it, if I'm pushing on something like this at a steep angle and I push these two together, right, I get a resultant vector that tries to go that direction. The more I straighten that out, the less vector I have in that direction. Well, that's the piston in the bore, and then the rod. As the rod is more angular, I get more vector where I push that piston skirt into the cylinder wall. If that rod is more vertical, I have less into the cylinder wall, so I have less friction on the skirt. I have less wear on the skirt. I have less wear or less force. What am I trying to say? I reduce the amount of work that the oil on the cylinder wall has to do, because you're not jamming the piston in the wall, so you get less shear effect on that. Also, your oil requirement on the cylinder walls is reduced because I'm not squishing all that oil out, and I don't need to keep pumping fresh oil in there to keep it cool, because I have just less friction and less pressure on the cylinder walls altogether. That's why I like the D-stroker. Also, because the bigger the bore, the better the heads flow. You'll see, like on cylinder head flow databases, they always say what size bore they used, or the tube, the lead-in tube to that, because that simulates the bore, and that's important because the bigger the bore, the better the heads flow typically. So the D-strokers got the benefit of less cylinder wall loading, piston to wall loading, less angularity, less losses, but still maintaining a bigger bore than the 2-liter does, so that you get better flow from the heads. But it still has the same weak-ass main bearings that the 2.5-liter does. The inability for it to produce as much torque at a lower RPM is beneficial for the mains, because they don't got to work as hard down low. And then the fact that it carries power higher means that the same value of torque goes towards making more horsepower better, right? It's 500 foot-pounds at 6,000 RPM, and then it drops to 400 foot-pounds by 7,000 RPM. If I could keep that 500 at 7,000, I'm making a lot more power, or even 8,000, making a lot more power. So reducing the torque down low and increasing the torque up top is beneficial for making horsepower, but being able to do that while also reducing cylinder loading and all that stuff is really handy. And also less likely to bend wrist pins. 2.5 liters, bend some wrist pins, man. Let me tell you. With aftermarket pistons, they bend wrist pins like crazy. Not with stock pistons. Regardless of horsepower output, stock pistons and pins rarely ever bend. And that's a discussion for a whole nother time, and it is the basis for my custom pistons and rods that I'm still working with the manufacturer on to get that going. But I got too many irons in the fire is what it really boils down to. Anyways, car's warmed up. We're in the 20X, and right now the boost should be around 17.5 pounds or so. That's what I did in the last pull before I had to change all the fuel out. The fuel had been sitting for 2 years in this thing, and it was knocking really easy and wasn't doing very good. So we pumped the fuel out. I got fresh fuel from the gas station in it. Just pump gas 92. If fuck, it might be 91. I don't know where Chase went. 91 or 92. The closest station 91. The second closest station was 92. And yeah, so we're gonna see what this thing does. And let me get to my page. In my opinion, the timing is conservative for a 2 liter especially. And wow, I got a lot of correction right there. Look at that, 20% right here in this zone. I changed all those other parameters earlier. Got some fuel here. See, that makes more sense. I'm actually glad to see that. I was having issues earlier with the trims were just out of whack, and the VE was wrong, and everything was just totally wrong for what this engine should be producing. But swapping the fuel, it looks like the fuel helps. Yeah, look at that. VE is going up a lot now. Okay, cool. Having good fuel goes a long ways. My guess is the other fuel probably was low to water too. I'm not going to do a pull yet. This big change in VE. I'm going to go through a couple of these cells here. Wow, that's a huge change. All right, we'll see what happens when I get in the boost. We'll see what happens. Whatever. It's a $1,300 motor, right? Or whatever these things cost. Still pretty rich. That's good. Oh, it's laying out on top a little bit, though. That's a good thing. I'll take that. Oh, good. I lost connection to the ECU. That's good. I love when that happens. What's that say? 279. Okay. Okay, that's good. Let's see if that log is still here, though. That was weird that I lost connection mid-pull. All right, so my target and my error, where am I at? I'm within 2%. Wow, that's crazy. That's close. 0%, 1% lean, 3% lean, 3% lean. Oh, that's weird. Well, that's really weird. What's going on here? Oh, I see. It didn't count down from this point here where it was actually 20% right there. I gotta fix that zone for sure. It stayed on the target pretty good, but you'll see the closed loop system had to add 20% there. And it took a long time to get rid of that trim because right here, I'm actually rich by 8%, and it's still adding 13% from earlier in the poll. No. So I could definitely add to the gain on this. If I add to the gain, it'll quicken the time that it takes to correct big errors like that. If I increase the gain when the error is high. So we'll definitely do that in a second. But in the meantime, I got to fix this 20% here. My voice is wrecked today. I don't know what it is. It's all phone sex operator sultry. You know you want to call me. Okay, so I'm going to add 15%. I like that. Look at that. That's a normal number that I expect. Oh, it's tighter now. I'm going to blend that in right there. Everything else is so big around it. Look at that. I'm just going to blend this guy straight up. Technically, if this is a correctly determined VE, right? Like if this map is actual VE, the VE should start dropping as boost goes up. In this higher RPM area up here, the VE should start dropping because VE actually starts dropping in those regions. I don't know how the link modeling is for that. I don't know if it's accurate or not. Let's see what else we got. Let's grab that log. So it's 20% there. That's 22%. 20% here. Also 22%. 20% there. Also 22%. So 22% for this whole area here. I'm getting happy now. Oh, right there. I already added some. Blend some of that in a little bit, and then check around up top. All right, up top, right here, where we at? 1%, 4%, 0.3%, I mean, 0.4%. All right, 1% at this RPM. Did I already fuck up an fuel there? No, that's exactly where I stopped. Sweet. All right, so that's good. I'll get some other areas again. Let's look at the rest of this log. Let's go back. So our timing at 18 degrees up top. That's it. And I got 13 here at peak boost. Okay, that looks good. Let's see what the knock is though. Is it knocking on us? Pull much timing? It did pull some timing. Right here at the very top. Pulled a little bit of timing right here. By a little bit, 5 freaking degrees. 5 freaking degrees of timing. In this spot right here, what is this guy? That's an angry spot. Why is she so angry? 5,800. Lambda, 775. I don't know why it's knocking at 775. That seems pretty freaking pretty rich to me. I mean, it is higher in compression. I guess I could add some more fuel on it. I'll throw some more fuel in right there because I don't think 15 degrees of timing at 5,800 is too much timing for like 17 pounds of boost. I don't think that's asking too much. So I am going to throw some fuel out of there. That's just going to be a target deal. I'm going to target probably, let's do like a 7.5. So that's going to add fuel. So I got my air far landing target. And we'll change this to like a 7.5. Like that. And then we'll do that, switching that up a little bit beforehand. And make that, oh, it's 6.5. No, don't want that. Okay. Okay. So maybe a swing more. Yeah, there we go. Leave it alone for now. Now, the richer I make it, the less range I have for power up top because I run out of injector. This is still just the factory STI injectors on this thing. Factory downpipe, factory injectors, factory like everything. Why the big thing was 303 built, or the thing would be with 350, 305 cranks. Well, I'll show you these. Yeah, dude, people love stroking. I hate stroking motors. Honestly, I freaking hate it. I don't like the way they feel. I don't like, I just don't like a lot of it, honestly. I don't like the increase in wear. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that the people that do that aren't going to be running the engine long enough for the longevity to become an issue. Most of those guys are racing them or beating on them, and they're going to wear the hell out fast because they're being raced and beat on anyways. That's what I think, and they're just going for the cubes. I mean, if it's NA and you do it, like, you reduce your RPM potential, but you often make enough horsepower, NA especially, to compensate for your reduced RPM potential. So guys do that, but you definitely get a big increase in wear and heat, higher oil temps. Like all the strokers I see have much higher operating oil temp than non-strokers. Speaking of rods, I'm still waiting on your G-Stroke 3.6 rods. I can't wait for those to come out. Yeah, so I have some, and I kind of stalled on the project because I made the crankshaft, and I asked around if they want to buy one, and nobody wanted to buy one. So I was like, why am I going to pay a ton of money to make a custom crankshaft for this if nobody wants to freaking buy them? So, I didn't do it. But if somebody wanted to get a group buy together, and all I needed was like 4, I think, 4 people to commit to buying a crankshaft, then that would have been stellar. But I didn't get it, and so I was kind of like, I got other shit to do, things that'll actually sell. Like I'm not going to make any money on it. It would have to be a huge buy for me to make any cash on it. So at that point, it's just a toy project. because shit, all the time I got spent on the crankshaft and the rods and all that already, I would have to sell like 10 of them to even break even. Maybe. I mean, it might take 20. So, anyways. How long before we can buy the GT drive power plant? If you're working on rods, pistons, cams, dry sump, turbo kit, from, yeah. What's funny about that is I have been wanting to do a block for so long. I honestly just want to do a cast iron EJ. It's a lot heavier, but goddamn, would it solve so many problems like instantly. A cast iron EJ, just kiss all those problems goodbye. The mains not having, or straddling the cylinders, so what? It's steel. It's strong. It ain't bending and flexing like the aluminum. And Subaru uses such bad aluminum, especially the new blocks. That's one issue I have with companies that only closed deck new blocks. The new ones from Subaru are physically lighter. Like they weigh less than the old blocks from Subaru because they've lowered the density of the aluminum so much. They're just big, floppy piece of shit engines. Really, like EJ is so floppy. And like the N25 heads people are shitting bricks about. It has the exact same flow rate as previous generation heads, and it's lighter than previous generation heads, which means it ain't stronger. So I don't understand why people would freak out about N25 heads. It makes no sense to me. Like, it's a weaker, less dense aluminum. That's like all the problems with the EJ already. Everything is already weak, low density aluminum. If you could do a high density aluminum, like Dart does, you could get a block that would be. I mean, you could improve the metallurgy of the aluminum used in the Subaru EJ and probably gain 35 to 40% rigidity. Just stay in aluminum. And yeah, that's just the EJ is such a pile of shit. I mean, it is. I love it so much, but it is a big pile of shit. It's a shame. I guess it's like that abusive spouse that you're just trying to love it out of them. That's the EJ with us. The EJ just keeps abusing us, and we just try to, I'm just gonna love it. One day it'll change, and it just keeps getting worse. I mean, yeah, like fucking Miss Physical pointed out, the RE block is a hunk of shit, and everyone throws, oh my god, it's so good. Like, you are in fucking denial. You people are in denial. It is not better. It must be. I mean, we've been beaten down by. I mean, I've been doing this shit for 20 something years on just Subarus, right? So, yeah, total Stockholm syndrome. That's funny. All right. So now, so 279. That's already better than the Stage 2 STI does on this dyno. And that's with it pulling 5 degrees of timing up top. So I think we're already horsepower wise. I think the answer is yes. I think the fucking my swearing's popping out. The more my voice wears out, the more I swear. It's weird. Yeah, it's pulling a butt wagger timing up top. But if it didn't pull timing up top, that would have carried to like 285, maybe even 290. Man, I'm having a hard time believing that actually was pulling timing up there. I mean, I suppose it could be, but man, that just doesn't. It doesn't seem probable. There's no timing in it. I mean, these things, man. Have you ever seen a time map on a 2-liter from Japan? Holy crap! 2 liters from Japan, they run so much timing. They run like 24 degrees of timing at peak boost, and like when they show up in the U.S., they just break. Yeah, see, I'm losing connection over and over again here. Why is that? What's going on here? Lost connection twice just now. Oh, you know what I bet it is? Probably because I got this thing plugged in. It wasn't plugged in earlier. I got my laptop plugged in now charging. I bet that's creating a field and I'm losing signal quality. I'm fully charged. I'm plugging the laptop. All right, we're going to try to dye it. All right. So I added fuel. Timing's the same. I'm going to do it again. I've got the closed loop a little more aggressive. I'm hoping that it doesn't pull timing up top again. We'll see what happens. If it does, I might just turn noctral off for a pull and just see what happens. See what the power curve looks like. Because I honestly, I can't see this that it's knocking. I just refuse to believe that it's knocking with such a light tune. But if I add fuel and that doesn't happen again, then it was knocking. So let's find out. Same. Same. Fuel cut, huh? I forgot to hit the rev limiter. I should just hit the rev limiter. Yep, just hit it. Lambda. -3, -2, -2, -2, -2, -2, -1. All right. That came way close to target. This is richer here. Here I'm 4% rich. Oh, so I still had a lean trim over here. Yeah, sure enough. So it wasn't as bad, right? I'll show you. I'm trying to expand this a little bit so you can see more what happened. All right. So right here on lean, you see it's adding 12%. Here it's adding 12%, 12.4. Now it's starting to pull back because we're richer than targets. We're currently richer than target. We're still richer than target. Now we're 5% richer than target, 4% richer than target, I mean, and it's adding 9, right? It's that residual 9 over here. Now it's coming down to 6. It's all residual addition from over here when it was lean a little bit. And so because of that, here we're 4% richer than target, and it's adding 2% still. So really, we're 2% rich on the VE table right there. Right here, we're 0.2% within, and it's pulling 2.3%. So we're technically 2% rich. So in this region, this whole region here, we're only like 2-3% rich, which is great. I always shoot for rich. I want the ECU to have to pull fuel to hit my target. I never want to have to add fuel to hit my target. It's adding fuel here. So I got to adjust this area. Now, granted, this is a lower load area. It's not that big of a deal, but anywhere in the power range, my goal is to always be 2 to 5% rich and have the closed loop yank it back because I definitely prefer that. For example, if O2 sensor stops working, if something quits, or say it overheats, stop signal, ECU cuts it out, and defaults to the fuel map, well, I don't want to be 5% lean. That wouldn't make any sense, right? I'd rather have it be rich and be on the safe side. All right, so air fuels are definitely richer than the last poll, looking way better. Trim-wise, other than this area right here, gotta make some more adjustments right there. Let's see what the NOx sensor did. It was quieter. It's still pulled timing here, though, even though it was one of the. This must be a learned trim. So this is, it's a learned trim. Oh, yeah. So I got to clear those out because I didn't turn the engine off. So it made the same power, but it was still pulling timing because of the last run. I didn't turn the car off, didn't reset. There's this one spot right here where it obviously made a little bit of noise, but that's way less. It was 7, 8 before. Now it's 4. So that's way less than last time. So it pulled timing, but it didn't give me a bunch of knock sounds here. So maybe it was knocking. Or maybe because this car sat for 2 years with bad gas in it, maybe the injectors are not quite balanced. And, that was cylinder 3 too. Maybe the injectors are not quite balanced and it needs just a little more fuel on cylinder 3 than the other cylinders. That is totally possible. In fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to see how that behaves. So we're going to go to individual cylinder corrections, which are currently zeroed out. And then we're going to bring up the this table. It's going to ask us for a single value or a table. We're going to do a table. And I know it's just for experienced users, but I'm going to try and do it anyways. So then they each can have their own table. So cylinder 1 can have its own table. Yes, please set to 0. But I don't really want to do cylinder 1. I want to do cylinder 3. The cool thing with this is you have the choice of doing just cylinder 3, cylinder 4. Fuck it. Or even sharing them, right? Like you could have 2 cylinders use the same trim table. That's totally an option if you want. And for here, it wouldn't be a bad idea if I wanted to do that and add 0.5% to 3 and 4. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a tiny bit of fuel to 3 and 4, but only in the high load areas. Here's our trim, and we're going to put in higher loads. Here's 14 pounds of boost, that red line. And I'm just going to do it at like a few pounds above, like 30, now do 4,000 and up. I'm going to add 1.3% because that's just a nice random number that came in my head, and that's the only basis for why I'm choosing that. And I just want to be a little bit more fuel than it had before, but I'm in the wrong tab, so it disappeared on me. So now I'm going to go on this side over here and do it. Okay, that was cylinder 3, let's go cylinder 4. I'm going to do the same, 1.3 for now. I'm just going to do that. Actually 1, because it was less noisy than 3. And that was it. It's just there was no scientific basis of that other than the fact that it was knocking a little bit, and I want to see if it's fuel based. So that's it for that. Okay, now we're going to go to the fuel maps, and we're going to adjust that rich area, or that lean area, I'm sorry, adjust the lean area and see if that will help keep us from carrying a trim into power. Now, factory ECU. Factory ECU goes open loop, right? Factory ECU goes open loop. Here's that area. What's the problem? Where does it start? 15, 19, 20. Wow, so right here. 20, 20, 20. Okay, it starts at the beginning of the pole. All right, so at the beginning of the pole is where the problem starts. It goes open loop on the factory ECU, and it ignores the O2 sensor. We're not doing that here. Here, oh man, I'm so happy to see this. I'm so happy that it's lean right there. I know it sounds crazy, but if you guys watched the stream earlier, I was fighting going, what the hell is going on? Why does this car have only 80% VE at atmospheric pressure? Why is the VE only 90 at 14 pounds of boost? What the fuck was that noise?
Hey, buddy. Shut
Oh.
The dyno door slammed it behind me.
Oh, I was like, what the fuck?
How's it going?
It's going all right. Fighting with the top end a little bit.
Still breaking up?
No, it was too rich before. That's why I was breaking up top. It was like 6, 7 lambda. So.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yep. Now it's too lean because the fuel fixed a bunch of stuff. So before I was like, why do I need to have a VE that's only 80 at atmospheric pressure and only 90 at 14 pounds of boost? It should have been like over 100 and something. The VE was totally fucking whack. I was getting really irritated with it and everything. But drain the fuel out, putting the fuel in it, fix it. It's all looking normal now. So
I mean, the fuel smells weird.
yeah, it might have a ton of water in it too. Although that would make it lean though, not rich. So I don't know. I don't know what the fuck's in it, but it was all messed up.
Either way, it's wrong.
Yeah, it's definitely wrong.
I'm gonna put it in my truck. It won't care.
Because your Nissan's like, nom, nom, nom.
Yeah, it doesn't give a shit.
It's like McDonald's, it doesn't care, whatever.
Yeah. It just puts it in there.
Yeah.
Whatever you give me.
How you doing?
I do know that it does have a different timing map for, well, I mean, it's obviously not testing for 92, but it's significantly peppier with 92 and into 87. So it might be kind of a pingy engine to start with.
Oh, octane limited engine for sure. Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, octane limited engine for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it might be a little pingy. So.
I mean, most modern cars have octane determination. Subarus do.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, every car does. Subaru calls it ignition advanced multiplier or DAM, dynamic advanced multiplier.
Really?
That's the octane measurement system. Mitsubishi calls it octane. Mitsubishi actually calls it octane. But like every manufacturer, Chevy's got one, high and low octane.
Wild.
Every car has one. Because the U.S. is covered in different octanes, right? Like you get 93 on the East Coast, 91 in California, there's Arizona, and California, Arizona,
And that's
91.
different.
Yeah, the 90, because it's highly oxygenated, right? So the manufacturers know, well, the engine makes this much on 93, makes this much on 87. How do they know what octane they have? They watch the knock. And based on how much knock it sees, they just scale back the timing towards the lower octane maps. But that's what it is. It's an octane determination.
So that's why when you have a car with like a ring lamp, the dam starts dropping. It's getting knocked.
Yeah.
So it thinks it's on a low octane.
Right.
So it starts pulling timing.
Right.
It's making sense.
Yeah. It's literally an octane measurement. But people just go, oh, it's knock history. It's gross knock history, which is a function of octane.
So you should come and explain that to us when you're done with this.
Okay.
To everyone.
Okay.
Because we tell people, stop fucking looking at your dam all the time. But I don't have an answer for it because I don't know what it is. I just know it's nonsense.
Oh, okay.
For 90% of your problems, it's nonsense.
Right.
So it'd be nice to be able to give someone an actual explanation or explain it over their head so much that they know that you're talking about something correct.
Gotcha.
Instead of just trying to tell them, don't worry about it.
Right. Put the anxiety port.
Don't worry about it.
Don't put the anxiety port in the glove box thing.
Yeah. Because sometimes people will fill up a mag rip and they'll be like, my damn God.
Yeah. Well, if you had a better tuner.
And I'm like,
oh wait, it's me.
Cold now? Has it been a while since you drove your car?
Right.
Okay, cool.
Right on, bud.
Yeah, you should. If you do have a moment, you should try to, or not try. Just run us through that real quick.
Okay.
That'd be great.
I'm going to try and reset the learned timing and do a pull where it hopefully does not.
Sweet. I like it.
All right.
This is within like 15 horsepower of an SDI though.
It's already higher.
It's already higher?
Yeah, because they usually do 278 on stage 2, and this is factory downpipe.
No way. I thought they did like 280 on stock stuff.
No, God no,
Oh,
no at all.
not even close.
No, all stock, fully tuned, all stock at 255. Fully stock without a tune is like 220.
Well, I knew they were that like
Yeah,
stock,
215,
but like
215,
with the tune.
220. Yeah, yeah, with the tune, most of your was like 255.
Is there any way you can pull up a stock rapid one?
Fuck, I don't know. We have to know the person's name when it showed up, if it was stock, not tuned, and all that. I mean, we can pull plenty of stage 2 maps up.
Yeah,
You know,
we should do that.
we can do that. This is
Stage 2 SDI versus 20X.
versus stock airbox, stock downpipe,
Yes.
20X. Right, yeah.
Yeah, we should do that as a.
Dude, on a GRSTI like this, the Cobb SF's worth 10 wheel.
Shit.
This is stock fucking airbox right now.
So that might be limiting it severely.
Correct. And the downpipe.
Well, I know the downpipe was going to limit it.
Right.
100%. I was aware of that.
Yeah.
Rad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because if it's limiting it at 260, at 280, it's definitely limiting.
We're probably going to hit 285 on this next pull.
That'd be so sick. He's going to be stoked. Because I told him, I was like, we haven't really done one before. We're assuming it's going to be good, but, it could be not as great. But he was, for the $5,000 price difference, he was okay with it. All right, awesome. Also, that test bed that I was talking about earlier was another reason because I want to get one of the $700 20Xs from eBay and just put like a 3582 on it and see where it comes apart.
Okay.
Or like a 3071 on it,
Sure.
and I'll just see where the bottom end
fails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a dead stock one. Like
see, at one point, Rod exits the building.
Yeah, or head lifts.
Or exit the chat.
Whichever one happens first.
Well, I mean, I can make the head lift happen first.
42 degrees.
Just give it a rally tune.
Oh, there you go.
You know?
Yeah, the phenolic spacer tune.
Yeah, just give it a rally tune. It'll be good. Yeah. I don't have a freaking what? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, so I cleared them out. We're good to go. We're gonna test this now. Let's see. What up, Dom? Thanks for cam advice. You're welcome, Mark. My dam is 750 always. That's weird. I hear they do 330 at Bader's. Yeah. Yep. No, it is not a 207. It's a 20X. It's the 4-cam 2-liter out of a Legacy in JDM land. Yeah, Bader has a different dyno. A very inflated dyno. That's funny you say that because they had a guy girl actually, that was tuned on his dyno at 350 something. Came here and it was 280. Like, oof. That's rough. Came here, did a pull, 280. Higher flowing heads. So these ports flow a little higher, but the bore is narrower, which reduces total flow a little bit. So you kind of like, you get some, you give some, you get some. But it's 2-liter, right? That's why it's doing better. How do I explain that? In this case, it has more to do with the fact that the turbocharger is stock and is a better match for a 2-liter because the VF on a 2.5 is done. By 5,500, it's fucking kaputskis. It has nothing left. And with the smaller displacement, the VF is able to carry longer and hold torque to a higher RPM so that the 2-liter, where the 2-liter is more efficient. So basically what we run into is just that a 2-liter is more efficient at higher RPM and a 2.5-liter is more efficient at lower RPM. And when you have a turbo that's really small and isn't efficient down low, then exhaust pressure, everything else go way up at the top end. Whereas this is, like Mark is saying here, better VE match with the turbo. Yeah, exactly that. Okay, so we should be good for another pull here. I think we're good. I didn't change that fuel section, did I? Oh yeah, I did. I did add fuel to the section. I don't know if it was enough, but I definitely added some. Right now, we see that the long-term trim is counter to the short-term trim. So I got a little more to fix right there. Looks like that spot and that spot there. Let's bring some more up in this bitch. And some more there. Definitely some more right there, and some more right here. That. Okay, that should help a bit. Now we're within 6%. We're getting closer. But I want to do this pull. I want to fuck with this little spot. What is that? Big fire right there. Oh, that was a tip in now. Oh, I got to work on tip in now too. A little rich. Look at that. I mean, you can't look at that, but I'll tell you about it. Let's see. I can hold the camera up in a second. So it is 14 pounds at red lines here, the 199 kPa.
Called it 285 on the nose.
Is it 285? Yeah.
Like 0.0.
Oh, it is 285.0. That's
0.2.
funny. I did call that. All right, I'll bring the last two runs up. I'm streaming too, so you know.
Yeah.
So don't tell me what you did with your wife last night or anything like that.
I do it.
Oh, you're married, right?
For 10 years. Well, sorry, 8 years. 8 years. And obviously, with my 8 years.
Oh yeah. So it made less through this range right here. Look at this. Oh, that's noise. We gotta put the strap on. I bet the intake air temp's all fucked up. Put the ground strap on, please. Yeah. Tons of noise. Just on the muffler strap, you know, like the or
Put on the hanger.
hanger. Yep, exactly that. Yep. Yeah, look what it does.
Obviously, on the
See
rubber side of it, right?
See the noise? That's from static buildup on the car. Isn't that crazy?
I had one shot the shit out of me the other day.
Yeah.
Like that far across to my leg. I thought you had like a 110 plug laying on it.
I'm like, wait till Lane walk and checks this out. All right, so that's why it's jittery, but it made more power everywhere. It's just wavy.
Did I ever tell you about when my electrician switched the neutral and hot?
I was gonna say, do you switch common and hot?
Yeah. So in my house, you turn off the breakers and your shit goes off, but the wire's still hot in the wall.
Yeah.
So you're
I've done that.
And you're like, fuck!
What
in the hell?
I did that on accident once.
So I walked by an outlet that was sticking out. And I was like, yeah, what the fuck is that? Yeah.
All right. Let's see, how was it knocked this time? Still pulled some. Pulled a in there. And that looks like an event. I mean, that goes to 10. Everything else is here at 1, so that sure looks like knock. Man, that's so hard to believe, man. That's cylinder 4. And we're looking at a 7.5 lambda, so we're on target. And the timing is 15 degrees at 58. This is the weirdest 2-liter ever. Weirdest 2-liter ever. I pulled out almost all the overlap, so I'm not polluting the cylinders with exhaust pressure. I could pull a little more out on the exhaust side. There's a little bit. So I'm polluting the cylinders a little bit. I'm polluting the intake port less or none at all. So if we pull a little bit out of the exhaust, we might be able to pull a little more out right here. I'm making a big change. We're just going to write to 0. See what happens. Oopsie. I'm just going to go 0, which is ridiculous. It should probably do pretty bad power-wise. But it's going to close that exhaust valve way earlier. Well, 20 degrees earlier. So we should see what kind of effect that has on the power. And knock tendency. Speaking of which, reset that again. There. Okay, I lost a little bit of power, which I expected. Um, well, not really. Except that the previous 285 was actually due to noise. The power curve is a little bigger. Man, I wish I had another phone here so I could show you guys. I screwed that up. Sorry. Look at that rich spot right there, though. Holy crap. That's 5% rich right there. Is that because of the carryover again? It's a less. It carried over a lot less. 5, 8, 9, 10, 11. So a little right there. 12. And it falls away, as you'd expect. So really, it's just in one spot. It's a little lean there. 8% through there. So 8% lean there. And here it is, let's see, 3.5% rich and 9% being added. So 5.5, 5.5 lean still there. 5.5 lean there. There's 4-ish. Oh no, that one's straight. That one's straight 12. Okay. So something, if you don't know, you might not know. If you look at lambda right here, for example, I've got 0.7 and I got 0.75. If I want my 0.7 to hit 0.75, I just pull 5% out. That's what that is. So that's just a 5% difference. That's cool thing with lambda, is you can go in your field table, go that single spot, pull 5 out, good to go. That's how that works. Provided your O2 corrections aren't playing a part. In this case, O2 is adding 2%, and we're 5% rich. So that really means the fuel map is only 3% rich because 2% of it came from that. And that's just a hangover from right here. Now, again, I like the fuel being 2 to 5% rich, so my fuel map there is actually perfect. It's up here that I got to fix it. So right here is still lean. Right there, it's 4% lean on the sensor, plus I have a correction of 6%, so I'm 10% lean right there. That spot right there. So let's go there. And go to fuel. So right here, I'm 10% lean here. That surprises me though. Even though I added some earlier, that surprises me because that's a 96. It could be some hangover from that spot right there too, honestly. If it was a shoe, honestly. Could use this, I suppose, if I want to get all this set up. There we go, and hit all these spots and work on the mixture map, but I don't want to. I just want to do smaller changes like this. And then right here, it is 7, 6, 7, 8%. So that is 8%. Right there. Okay, hold on a second. I was just here a minute ago. What changed? My charge temp is something that I need to be concerned about. My charge temp could be incorrect. My charge temp estimate. Oh, you know what? Look at that. Look how clean that was. Just one little spot up top. I think I have. I do. I have IAT fuel correct and charge temp approximation, which is not a good idea. They're both on. And they're both doing the same thing. So one's making it worse. I like that. I'm much happier about that. That one little spike right there. What's that happening at? 64. Okay. 6,400. What we got? 6,400. Where we at? Right here. 7.6 lambda. Okay, so my target 7.7. It seems like it likes 7.5 lambda target better. That's what we're seeing. It likes to be richer than 7.5. So go to my fuel table, go to target table here. I didn't hit that button. Why are you doing that? Hit down. Okay, so the boost fell off some, and that's why it went there. This engine clearly likes more fuel, especially when it's higher loaded. Oops, wrong button. I want this one. So we're going to give it more fuel. And then based on load, and based on RPM as well. There we go. So it's going to richen up with RPM a little bit. That could be a factor of the compression ratio for sure. I wanted to set all of them to 776, like 1776, and just be like my America tune. Make closed loop also lambda 776. That'd be hilarious. I'll show you guys the power curve at the end when I can get out of the car and do all that. Man, I'm really surprised, honestly. Stock downpipe, stock airbox. I mean, it's not a night and day difference, right? It's a night and day difference in that the peak horsepower happens closer to 7, and then it carries really nice. And then it's laggy as fuck compared to a 2.5 liter, but it's not a night and day difference in the peak numbers. The 2.5 liter is going to beat this one. I mean, in a race, if you had to wait for this spool to happen, you would lose the race because the 2.5 had already spooled it and it took off. But if it's a rolling race and you guys you're both like started like say 5,000 RPM, then this one will probably win it with the longer length of the STI gearbox on this era and that power curve. It'd probably be better. It makes 10 pounds of boost by 3,200. That's not bad, right? Can't bitch about that. I'm over here calling it laggy, but look right here. Peak boost here is 4,000, and that's my pulse width, which is coincidentally the same shape. 17-ish pounds right there. Oh yeah, I'm only at 70 pounds too. I'm not even pushing it that hard yet either. I forgot about that. I can keep adding boost. All right. So it didn't like the 0, but it didn't hate the 0, right? Like it didn't have that big of an effect. And I think I've showed that in other videos where I'm like, like exhaust ABCS is nice, but it doesn't work miracles, right? It doesn't do a lot. And I think we're seeing that again right here. Like the difference was marginal. With the power. I mean, it didn't go up. I lost a smidge. Let's see. Peak horsepower happened at 6,300. And I know I can get the climb more if I can keep the timing in it. So 6,300 peak power happened, which is right. I say 63. I think I'm at 68. No, 63. Okay, 63 right here. So bank 1 is zeroed out. Bank 2 is zeroed out because I zeroed it. So that's what the cams all zeroed out. Let's see right here. 40 intake and 31 exhaust. So tons of overlap right here. Oh. All right, so I raised the target. So I raised it, I lowered it. I added fuel to the fuel target. And see if she stays awake. 6% trim, 7% trim, down to 0% trim, 1%, 2%, like that. Fuel trims were way closer to that pole. That was great. Power's down a lot. Wow, maybe it didn't get exhaust change. Power's down a lot. It either knocked a lot or the exhaust changed. And it pulls down right there. See, where pin was it knocked at? Right there. Oh, that wasn't even into the exhaust change yet anyways. Yeah, that was basically right before I changed it anyway, so I didn't do shit. It just made little knocking noises. Fuel 7.4, 7.3. Yeah. I wonder what plugs are in this. I haven't knocked threshold. I haven't even changed it. I just set it 2. But I mean, like, I look at that map, I look at this, and I see spikes. Right? I mean, spikes imply noise. I mean, spikes are from noise, and they imply not. These spikes aren't that big. Look at that. Like, that limit to 3. So I'm wondering if I just didn't raise the threshold enough. Like, I should have got 2.5. So only these little guys there can catch it. I don't know. Here, definitely nothing, but up there, definitely some noise. I hit 2.5 on that. Yo!
I got a baffling one here.
Okay.
Got a 97 Outback Sport with an iWire harness merge with a JDM 205. Guy did the harness merge himself. This is the one that had the Nokia motor. We put another one in.
Okay.
So it runs okay until you start putting electrical power elsewhere. Like you turn the headlights on, it kills the car. Has 12. It has one code for the fuel pump controller. Like when it drops voltage.
So there's like 4 grounds under the dash, and there's 2 or 3 in the middle, and then 1 on each end.
Yep.
I'll
have to pull his dash apart.
Yeah, look underneath and see. Pull the car back, see.
Because he did the harness merge himself, and he brought us the car basically like, I can't get it to run on.
What about the ones on the strut tower? Are those getting grounded?
Those 2 and 2, yeah.
And the one from the battery to the engines. You installed it, so that'll be good, right?
That one's fine.
And what about engine to chassis?
Engine to chassis. I don't know if there's an engine to chassis ground. I don't think there is. Try that.
Try adding one.
Okay.
Because typically the engine to chassis one is the negative, and then the negative goes to the chassis too from the battery. Was it a factory cable or aftermarket cable?
Aftermarket.
Did they still have the one that goes from the battery to the strut tower?
The aftermarket one has a little lead that could go to the strut. It doesn't go to the strut tower, but it's like short enough I could make it.
Because from the factory they come that way. One goes to the fender.
Right.
Right. It goes from negative to the fender, and fender also to the car. And then Subaru added one on a later year on the passenger side, right, to a ground there. And then later year they added 2 on the exhaust and everything else. So I would start with adding a chassis to block ground.
Okay.
And see if that helps.
Okay.
And definitely, if that pigtail's loose, definitely the one to the fender.
Right.
Because when you turn the headlights on, where's he going to go? He needs to get to the battery. How's he going to get there? Well, if the engine's not connected to the chassis anywhere, the headlights are.
Yeah,
it's got to go through the ECU or something else.
That makes sense.
Right? And that's going to definitely kill it. So you got to have a ground path from like the headlights and shit, which is the chassis, which needs to make it to the battery.
So ground the battery to the chassis and also the engine to the chassis.
Yeah.
With that?
Yep.
Okay. That's what I was like, it's gotta be something stupid, so that makes sense. Because like, I went and drove it. It drives okay. It's got some weird stutter here and there, but I went to turn. As soon as you hit the blinker, I'm like, whoa, whoa! So I was like bucking and doing some shit. I'm like, what the hell? You throw the blinker out, God, trying to. What?
That's weird. Oh, it's also turn off the fuel pump.
It dropped voltage of the controller. I
Oh,
added
okay.
that the wire that iWire wants you to go from the controller. They have that little jump board, you want to call it. They
Yeah.
go into
Fuel pump.
the ground on the fuel pump. I ran that one because it didn't have one, and it seemed to help, but it still has some weird little bits.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried those grounds. Let's see what happens.
They're pretty straightforward. Other than that, it's neat.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Roll, bud. It's interesting that it throws one. Oh, right there. 1, 2, right there. 1, 2, 1. I don't know if I cleared that or not. That searches balls. I can't ask you to do much more than that. I could try what usually doesn't work, but I can try adding a little bit of ABCS to it on the intake side instead of going to 0 up here. Carry a little longer, but that usually only works with aftermarket cams. Doesn't usually work on these. Aftermarket cams are usually cut on a much more retarded center line than the factory ones because they have so much more overlap and they don't want to bang valves into valves. So what happens is when you end up advancing the cam a little bit up top, it helps with power sometimes. Just a little secret to tuning if you're doing it for your first time. Yeah, this is just some pump 92. Could be 91. It's whatever Chase went and grabbed. So the closest gas station 91, then there's one that's a little further away that's 92. I usually tell them to grab 92, so we'll see. All right, I'm going to pull a degree out of it. And then, oh, does this have IT correction for it? It's all zeros, unless it's really hot. Well, that doesn't fucking make sense, now does it? And why is it on TPS? Oh my god. Link, why do you do some dumb stuff? Sometimes they do some dumb shit. I love their product, but sometimes they do some dumb shit. And one of them is basing stuff off of throttle position when your fuel map and everything else is based off manifold pressure. Like, why would you base something that affects your VE off of your throttle when your VE is determined by manifold pressure? It just doesn't make sense to me. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. Can you guys see that? I don't know if you can see that in the stream or not. Yes, you can. Okay, cool. I wasn't sure if these sub windows that pop up show or not. Now, this is like -3 and even near enough. If it gets this freaking hot, that shit's gotta be like way retarded. And then right here, it's showing you pulling degree. I don't think this has an IET sensor, which is another issue. God damn it, Lane. I might not have one in the intercooler. Obviously, it should because it's fucking speed density, so you need it. But maybe it doesn't because he thought it was going to use the mass airflow sensor. I don't know. And technically, it could use a mass airflow sensor. I could use that. Yeah, full timing up top. It's that hot. I want to pull some anyways. Lane! Intake air temp?
Intake air temp? It's in the map.
This is a speed density system.
You're not running it off the map?
Link doesn't run the math.
Oh, well, I put a new one in it.
It measures the math and tells you stuff, but it doesn't actually use it.
So can I put the shit one back in?
Yeah, save the guy $200.
Not charging for it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not worried about it because it was in my hands, in this, and then back out. So I'll just put it back in the box. But... Okay. That's rad.
Yeah. Amtron uses it.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Link does. I don't know how to make it do it. I don't see anywhere on here to say that it's math-based. Everything's always, oh, maybe it's up here.
So we need to move the IAT.
4-stroke, fast, 0-port description. Yeah. Because right here on their fuel model, it just says modeled. And that's based on map.
Okay.
So VE table, air charge estimate calculation, and nothing about the mass airflow sensor. So I don't think these things use a mass airflow sensor.
Yeah. So what do you want to do?
Well, it needs an IAT post intercooler for sure. I think that's why I'm getting a lot of knock. I think it's actually super fucking hot, and the timing is not appropriate for it because it's really hot, because that intercooler is fucked.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm over here fighting this knock. I'm like, maybe it's just too much timing because it's hot. And I was wondering if it was, you know,
Okay.
if it was one of the intercooler or not.
So is it safe right now?
Safe-ish, yeah.
Okay.
It still knocks a smidge, but I'm gonna do a poll here and see if it
So,
if I reduced it.
Maybe what I do is I tell him, this is what we ran into.
Why is he trying to pick it up today or something?
Huh?
He's trying to pick it up today or something?
No.
Oh, okay.
But what I can do is I can pitch him, now that we have a baseline, I can pitch him performance parts now.
Oh, sure. Yeah, if he wants them.
That's
yeah,
what I'm saying. I'm like, so at this point, if you want, we can do an intake, a downpipe, and an intercooler. If he so pleases.
Injector duty is 95% right now.
Never mind.
Well, hold on a second. It's that high because I've had to richen it up a ton because I was fighting knock. So I can get a little more out of it.
Like intake, exhaust, intercooler more?
At least intake more. Intake and intercooler more.
Okay.
The exhaust, maybe not. I'll have to see how it behaves.
So I'll probably pitch him and if we're not using MAF, I don't need to sell him a top intake.
That's true.
I can just run a hose over there.
As long as
Sell him the box, sell him the top box, but just run a tube over there.
Yeah, if you wanted to. You absolutely could. You get a good enough filter. I mean, I like the cob one because it's got the funnel in it, you know, that smoothens the air into the tube and all that. That's nice. They do that more for the mass airflow sensor than anything else, but it's still handy. But I mean, if you were to fabricate
but
something,
I do have a nice 3.5-inch filter that we've used on some like 500 horsepower stuff that seems to do fine. So.
Yeah, if you threw a box in there with something like that, that'd be pretty nice.
It's like the same dimensions as the cob one.
Uh-huh.
It's just slightly smaller diameter, maybe 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch. But it's 3.5-inch inlet instead of 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I could just run 3.5-inch tubes from the inlet over there, no problem.
Yeah.
Into the cob box. So cob box.
Yeah, that'd be nice. And the box is good, keeps the air down, temperature down.
Okay, so I'll pitch into that then. So we'll do intake and intercooler.
It definitely needs intercooler. I think it's hammered. And intake air temp in the intercooler.
Yeah, that's when I would do that.
Yeah. Otherwise, it seems to run pretty good.
Okay.
Want to do one more full?
Okay. So we should be good to drive around and put some miles on it because we still need to test it and all that stuff. So.
Yeah.
We're implementing.
I haven't even tried turning boost up yet either.
Any engine replacements, we're going to put 100 miles on every one of them.
Might as well. I haven't tried turning boost up yet either. I'm just left it here at 17.
What's that?
I haven't turned boost up yet either.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just stock?
I mean, it's 17.5 to 15.5. But on a 2-liter, right? I mean, it'll almost do that on a 2.5. Right? We'll run.
So it's awesome.
Well, I don't know if it's awesome, but it might be.
More power in stock boost.
Right. Well, not stock boost, but
What do they make stock?
15.
Flat?
Yeah, they're programmed to be like 15 flat and then taper to 13 at red line. So, I mean, it's more than stock. What I'm saying is I haven't tried to add power by cranking the boost up. I just said that one time and that's it. I could try and add some more, but
Well, that's what I'll pitch them then. So what would you say, because there's bouncing around numbers, you say just 280 flat? Just in the 270s and then maybe 285 here and there.
yeah. Yeah. I want to see this with a 16 GXT with a 7 or 8 10 housing and a top mount. Because I think it outspools the fucking DF all day long and makes more power. So
another thing is, would we have to go to a full fuel system at that point?
yeah. I mean, I could still bump the bottom end up.
My only thing is that that's unfortunately where we get so much these costs in that like 300 to 350 power range.
Okay, the next
like
step is
$2,000 worth of fucking fuel system.
right. The next step is big.
That's actually more than that. It's It's almost $1,000 for injector, and then it's at least
Well, 1050s are $500. It's 1300s that are 1,000.
That's
Yeah, yeah. This wouldn't need that.
Yeah, because it adds so much money to go 40 more horsepower.
Yeah, the next step is expensive.
Like 500 is almost the same money.
I mean, you could afford a BMW and keep it stock and make more power with a tune.
Yeah, I did.
Right?
$5,000.
Right?
Paid $360.
I know.
No parts. Okay, well, I'll put that note down and I'll make an estimate for him.
Okay.
But if we're good here, then we're good here.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a couple small tweaks and then a pull and I'm done.
Well, I mean, so if you say it's safe to take, then I'll pitch him that. Hopefully he goes for it. If not, we can test drive it and pick it up, right?
Yeah, whatever.
So as long as you leave it here, as long as it's going to be safe, it might not be optimal, but as long as it's safe.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Yep, yep. All right, pull a little bit of timing out of it. Plus, I pulled some of the intake grid time compensation. And now I'm just going to turn boost up a teeny bit.
Are you live streaming right now?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
Why, you want to talk shit about
I
somebody?
didn't know if you were talking to yourself or if you're saying important stuff.
Oh, no. Talking to myself. So it's not hitting 240 though, but that could just be a wasted duty cycle. Definitely not gonna hit down here. I got hiccups all of a sudden. Alright. What's our PID set at? 2 and 3. Stage 1 duty is 80. Let's go to 90. 30, 10, 10.3. Okay. Oh, 10? That seems high. That seems high. Even that seems high. right, see what happens. Yeah, so I definitely have a favorite map sensor. It is definitely not Omni. Let's just get that out there. No, it definitely matters. Map sensor quality is super important. Um, Map sensor susceptible to noise, electrical noise, physical noise, oscillations, problems with vibration, all kinds of shit. So, yeah. Uh, if you have a Subaru, just get the Cobb. That's basically my advice. If you have a Subaru, get the Cobb. If you get an Omni, you're just wasting time. If you got a standalone, sometimes they have them on board. Lost a lot of power. Let's see. Why is that? Timing is less. Timing is less. So I pulled timing. That made a huge difference pulling timing. Manifold pressure did not go up. Peak went up a teeny bit, but it didn't go up anywhere else, even though I asked it to. So I'm thinking that the turbo's done, which makes sense. I mean, they're maxed out at 283 on a wheel. Anyways, on these things, that's not the right map. I'm like, what's going on here? So why is it? Okay, what are you doing here? There it goes. So 68 allowed. It was at 90. All right, so yeah, she's topped out. With that in mind, actually knowing that it's topped out, knowing that 90 doesn't get me anything, I should lower it. If I lower it, then I open that door more. If I open that door more, then I lower back pressure. So treat it like a restricted rally motor. It's not going to get 240. Like it's just not doing it. Like I've tried, right? Can't happen. So you drop it down. You drop it down, and we open that wastegate up, and don't try and hold it shut. You hold it shut, you cause problems. So 200. Let's see where we're at. So at red line, 198 for today. And this is also for today's temperature. It's hotter today. It's going to be lower anyways. But so we'll set it 205. And then we'll go target trim. IET target based on air temp. Air temp was low. I can't really change that much. It wasn't low, but 40 Celsius, which is 90 degrees. So it's not ideal like that. But this would be a big benefit. Like I could do this, I can make it warm higher when it's colder. Do one of these numbers like that, right? And then I add a whole pound, like 1.4 pounds. You can add a little bit of target based on cold air temps, pull it based on hot air temps. That makes sense. How much you do depends on where your intake air temp sensor is located. Right now, it's in the MAF, which is the right place to have it for boost target, but it's the wrong place to have it for engine management. That's why these things have two optional things with mass airflow temp and intake air temp. So what I would do is I'm going to tell him to add an intake air temp, but don't use the factory wiring. Stick it into like a TGV input. When I do that, then we'll use. Link might not let me do that though. I'll try again to put it somewhere else. Preferably use another temp input so that I can have one of them to affect my wastegate duty. So like right here, wastegate duty trim table. This one says coolant temp. It's skewed. IET it is. That one. So this table would be great if I know the inlet temperature into this here instead of being IET. Oh, I can't change it. So what I would do is I would because I want that to be MAF temp, right? I want that to be the MAF temp. So like right now, temp 3, which is turned off, It's supposed to be the what are you doing here? So I go math, turn it on, analog like this. Then it goes back and it was voltage 8 is where it was. I turned it off earlier because I was having problems. I wasn't sure that was they doing that. So do 10, sure. Why is this still locked out? Hmm. Where did it go? Apparently I'm just missing it, but there's supposed to be math temp. Math temp is an option. It was on temp 3 here, but it's not letting me do shit. Why is it locked? What the fuck is going on? Something's dorked up. I'm gonna unplug it. I'm gonna reset the software here because something's fucked up. So, uh, oh, it's open twice, or it's locked. What is this? There's a window. There it goes. Oh, software was glitched. Okay, that's why. What is going on? Let's try this again. Turn this off. Turn that on. Cycle power. Plug it back in. Save my boot stuff, so that's good. Happy to see that. Temp 3. Oh, look at that. Now it's got that function. Doesn't have a thing under it. Weird. I must be just missing it. I can't see it. No, 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 no. IET, temp 2, temp 3. What the fuck is going on here? This is weird. There's the math. I have supposed to have the option of putting the math temp. It was on there like at the beginning of the day, and now it's just gone. It's supposed to be right here. This one's supposed to be math temp. Obviously, I'm missing something. Don't know what it is. Hmm. Weird. It says it can be used as a load source to map. Wow. Weird. Just disappeared. Weird. It's not fucking there. Okay. Well, that's what it is. I don't know why, but that's weird. All right, so let's go back to this. I'm gonna go to clear my fault codes, like so. Let's double check I turned the boost down, like I think I did. Boost target, I did. I'll make it lower. I'll make it 190, like that. I'll lower it quite a bit, and then see what that does for it. All the green lights go. Everything comes on. Oh, that's so weird. They just disappeared. I'm really confused. It's usually right there, like literally on the screen normally, and it's just not there right now. Just math 10, but it ain't there. That's so bizarre. And it was right here. Math 10 was number 3. Actually, it was number 2, and number 3 was IAT. It just ain't there. Well, like I said, the software is weird. I could probably open an old map and it'll be there. We'll do that next. A little bit of a stutter right there. I think I need to work on the tip in right there. Yeah, right there. See that? Yeah. feel that hard. A little better. Holding side there. I gotta get that IET moved. No balls down too. I need representative temperature. Tell me once. Okay. What the fuck? Ah! That was way less boost. Way less boost. The whole thing. That's weird. I wasn't even hitting the old target. And now I'm okay. That's okay. Weird, but okay. Yeah, pound and a half less. All right. I think I lowered it, but I don't think I lowered that much. 207. Oh, see, it's not trying. So 207 is the target. So the initial was lower because it's set to be lower, and proportional, and then it's right on target. Okay, right there. That's not bad then. Honestly, it's all right. The integral added 6% to hit target. So it tells me two things. One, I got to raise my duty based on that target because my target, my wastegate duty map is based on the boost target. A lot of cars aren't like that. Super from the factory is not like that. Super from the factory, the wastegate is based on throttle position, whereas this here is based on target. So my target being 200 was way down here, and it took this much duty cycle basically to hit the target before. So I screwed up in that I didn't give it enough duty cycle to hit the target it's supposed to hit. Now, if the target is 0, then obviously the wastegate should be 0, so I'm going to get rid of that. And then I do this, do like that. And so if I want to hit the 240, though, it's got to be higher. I'm not going to hit 240. It's not going to happen, but I do need to fix the wastegate duty because I definitely screwed it up. There we go. I'll definitely try harder to hit the target. Which it did do because the PID was adequate, but you see 9% plus 1.6, so I became really short, 11% short right there of hitting my target. But I won't have that problem now. It was 45, so 65, so I got too much there. Take us down to 48. Just put that like that. Like that. Okay. What was I at? Very red line. 48 to hit 190. All right, that's 48 at 190. So that's where it starts, and then what was it right here? 38 to hit 190 at 42. All right, so it's a little high, which I'll take. All right, so that should be a little better. How was that not? Was it just like ferocious? No. One little tiny little nubbin right there, which probably isn't even real. Okay. Okay, that was a little nicer. Still off on the fuel right there. This little spot right here. So I had some fuel. Let's see, don't do that. But overall, we're really close to this whole zone. That's all right on. I like that. Let's go to boost. There you go. See, our proportional now is 1. Integral is 2%, 3%. So we're really close. So that means that's good, right? What I'm looking for, this is my PID. This tells me how much duty cycle I'm getting based on what parameter proportional integral derivative. I've covered PIDs a ton in other videos. And so we see here, I got 1.9 and negative 0.2. I'm within a couple percent the whole way. That's good. That means that my basic duty cycle map is very close to being correct for this boost target. So good. We're good there. And I'm raise the boost target back up some because it definitely wanted the boost, even though it couldn't hit it. The power dove off 20 wheel with 2 pounds of boost. So the combination of the reduction in timing and the reduction of boost was 20 wheel instantly. And that's pretty crazy. That's a lot. If only this turbo spooled quicker, I could put more boost down low and let it taper off, but it's not spooling very fast. All right, I got some boost back on that one. Now I'm 263, back up 263 from 257. So I got some boost back. I got some power back across the board. Probably got some knockback too. Let's just be honest. Probably determined got some of that back too. Let's see. How's my fuel? Fuel is like right on target. I like that. That's good. Knock is clean. Wow, it's clean. Other than this spot right back here, but that's a learned trim from before. So you didn't go above any thresholds. So right there, we kissed it and it pulled 0.1 degrees, but it was clean otherwise. So that's golden. I like that. Boost. We got 3%, 3%, 3%, 3%, 6%, 9%. So it's trying to hit that target. It just can't do it. Interestingly enough, the target. Oh, I took too far. Okay. 200, it's 52. So it's trying to hit that 200 target. So like we're right there. We're right at the limit of what it can do. And so you see that the proportional integral both start counting really quick. They're like, where's that boost? Where's that boost? We got to get it. So it starts throwing D cycle at it. But it just isn't. So this is pretty much the best it's going to get. Yeah. And then if I want that power back, I got to add timing. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to because we're too close to the knock threshold. So it's going to stay at 265 for now until we figure out what this guy wants to do. Plus, it's heat soaked with shit. et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Times it, 430. Okay, perfect. So, what did it end up doing? Ended up knocking a lot. What else did it end up doing? Ended up making a little bit more power than STI does, and a lot less torque. Spooled later, carried a little longer. So, is it better? I don't think it's better, but I also don't think it's worse. I haven't driven on the street yet, but the 2 liters with the VF feel really good, typically. I don't know how this one's going to feel in this car yet. We'll have to find out. But I don't know if I want to say it's better because I don't think it is better. It'll probably last longer. It'll probably get better fuel economy. Those are definite pluses. You're not going to ring land this 2 liter with this tune right now. And it feels fine. It feels good on the dyno. It isn't a powerhouse. I don't feel it like yanking up, on the straps or anything, but I don't on the stock turbo anything. So that's all fine and dandy. I do see though. I don't know if this thing has a 3-port on it or the factory solenoid. It should be factory. This thing was all factory. If it's factory solenoid, then this 15 hertz is good. If it's 3-port, we change it to 28 or 30. But obviously, it's working perfectly fine right now. Although I am surprised I can't get boost higher. Well, let's think about this for a second. If I'm hitting the same power when the turbo's maxed out on a 2.5 liter, and I'm doing it at just a tiny bit more boost, that means the engine is flowing more air. Well, maybe. It's a tiny bit more boost, right? If it was the same boost, then we'd say that more air because it's less displacement. It's a tiny bit more, so it could be about the same. I wonder how big these cams are. I think that's our next question. Next thing to dive into is what size are these cams? I like the ports on them. Even this one has bigger ports than the W25 heads. It's not gigantic. It's not a huge difference, but it's a difference. It's noticeable looking at them. The divider's lower. The runner is rounder. It's not quite a big port to a 7 head, but it's definitely bigger than a W25 or a D25 head. And I like that. And I like the stronger main bearing aspect. I don't like the smaller displacement aspect. I like the rod ratio aspect versus a 2.5 liter. I don't know. I want to like it. What do you guys think? Let me know if you're watching this afterwards on the replay. Let me know in the comments. I respond to comments in the comments section, so feel free to do that. I want to know what you guys think. Is 263 wheel, or is it turned down, viable or not? Stock intake, stock downpipe, and all of that. Fixed everything?
Yeah.
What'd you do? Just the one dongle to the fender, or what?
I made a new one, and I went to like the frame rail,
Mm-hmm.
and just to where the header meets the block. And how it's on voltage is stable.
Where the header meets the block?
Huh?
Like on the head? Like,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fine.
Sweet. Perfect.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
Electrician.
What?
Electrician.
Well, no, I said the multiple years of doing this stuff.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't even think about that type of ground. I was like, it's got a ground, it should be fine, but
It's got to have a path.
it's got a 4-gauge wire on it now. The voltage is even more stable. The it's kind of bouncy.
Yeah. Does it drive smoother too, or have you done that yet?
So I think it needs a new map. It's like
Did you drive it though?
I haven't yet.
I bet it drives smoother.
It probably drives way better now.
We'll give it a shot.
But yesterday I drove it, hit the blinker. I'm like, it's gonna die on me. It died here, and I had to coast the whole way down.
That's funny.
Anyways, thank you.
Go take it on the block.
I will tomorrow. I still got to do a couple little things.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to hear about it. Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. All right. So short answer, is it viable? Yeah, it's viable. I think it's viable. It's potentially doable in the stock ECU. This year has the dual AVCS. This is not stock ECU on this one. Of course, with green speed and all those kind of stuff, it's important to have all your emissions equipment on there. Luckily, this has all that stiff tooth. That's why we're doing what we're doing. Bad gas earlier, Aaron. Yeah, bad gas. Everything's better. Like the VE is more reasonable. It makes sense with the VEs. I don't know how. I don't know how it got rich. Hold on a second, Mark, just a second. Fine. Trying to get the wife to go to sushi, and I'm like, let's go get sushi. She's like, we have veggies at home to eat. We have a huge garden. Huge garden. It's 1,200 square feet. It's not huge, but for two people, it's more than we can eat. I got cherry tomatoes coming out my ears, and peppers. I got so many peppers. I love peppers. I got so many peppers. Jalapenos, habaneros, Anaheims, Carmen's, Thai, ornamental Thai hot chilies, serranos, cayennes, green bell peppers. I think that's all the peppers. Enough. So I got a lot. And man, the fresh tomatoes are good. Man, put them in the fridge for one day, ruins a tomato. It absolutely ruins it. It's a totally different flavor just being in the fridge for one day. Go out on the vine, pop those cherry tomatoes out the vine, just pop, delicious. But put them in the fridge for a day, I don't want to eat them. I don't want them on a salad. I don't want nothing like that. Oh, I want to take her out for sushi. Just a place down the street. It's our favorite place. It's really good. Um, I don't make sushi at home. I make. Uh, I love Fujiyama here. They get good sushi here in Liberty Lake, and then over in Coeur d'Alene. People like the fish marketplace. I haven't eaten there but once, and it was okay, but it was sheer chaos, and the line was long, and there was hundreds of people there. It was ridiculous. I just wanted to eat my food and get the fuck out. It was so loud and everything. And then uh, Cold Dead Fish. It's a sushi food truck. A lot of people say the place kicks ass. Cold Dead Fish, I think is what it's called, and in Coeur d'Alene on Best. But anyways, yeah, the tomatoes are awesome. The Romans are pretty good, but the cherries are phenomenal. We got cucumbers for days. I got bush pickles. I got zucchinis are this big. She grows these zucchinis, and they're like this fucking gigantic. They're huge. And I got like 6 rows of corn. I had an ear the other day. We actually planted the corn in stages, like a week or so apart, so that I don't have 50 ears all at once because I can't eat that. But I can go out there and just yank one off, like I did yesterday. I'm gonna yank one off of a bush and went in the house, cooked it for dinner, and I can do that every day for the next couple months. I go pull one off, and I'll be pretty good for corn. So it's been good. It's been nice. Potatoes, we got potatoes. We got sunflowers that are taller than my melon, uh, taller than me. A lot of cool stuff. That's where I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it right here. I made a little less power because I pulled the timing out of it, but I want to wait till we get integrated temp sensor in it and intercooler in it before I push it hard again. I feel like I was pushing it too hard. Anytime you gotta try to make power, it's gonna fail. Plain and simple. Palm striked it. Yeah, it's gonna fail if you when you're trying to squeak out 10 more, trying to squeak out just a couple more. You're trying too hard. You're on the verge. It's gonna pop. Don't do it. Don't push it. Power should come easy. When it starts to get difficult, that's when things are getting stressed. You're at the limit of something, and that something is going to bite you if you keep doing it. So double check all my settings here are good. It all seems good. Been really happy with it, honestly. Other than the knock that it was doing through a bunch of poles, look at that. That one's clean too. Really happy with what it's doing. So this engine really is happy at 265 wheel. That's where it's the happiest. With it being rich like this and no timing, get a better intercooler on here. I'm certain would help. All the fins are flattened on this one, so I know it's got shit for airflow. Plus, I'm on the dyno, which has crap airflow on it. So better intercooler, lower the intake air temps on it, make a big difference on pump gas. I bet this thing excels on ethanol, but I need big injectors for that. I really want to try. I want to throw ethanol in this bitch and see what she does. If I could just throw some, I have some ID 725s. I'd run those in stock rail. Throw those in there, upgrade the regulator, minimize the pulsation problem that these things have. Oh, the pulsation problem. That's that fucking 20% freaking lean spot in the middle there, isn't it? Fix that. Yeah, because it's actually, this is all stock regulated and everything. So throw an 05 STI regulator on it. That helps with that. Or throw a 4 F1i or F2i on it. That'll help with that. I think this is I think it'll work, and I actually look forward to fucking with it more. I think it's 9.5. Yeah, I mean I don't know. I didn't check it, but I think it is. I think it's a 9.5. Are all the 20Xs 9.5 or 9, 8.9 or some shit like that? I think they're 8.9. So I think they are. But I don't know. I don't know. It was a like a $1,800 motor or something like that. 18 or $2,000 engine that we got and put in here. Had to go through the shit. Had to put a lot of time into it, honestly. I don't know if this is a Y or an X. I don't recall if it had an auto flex plate on it or not. If it's an auto with a flex plate, it's 9.5. What you're telling me? And if it's manual, it's a Y and it's 9-1. Okay, I'll have to ask the guys. Oh, you know what? I know it was auto because it had where my cooling mod goes. It had the pipe to go to the cooler. They had a cooler to those at the cooling mod spot. So it must be an automatic one because it had the cooler on it. The auxiliary trans cooler. So yeah, 9.5 on our shitty pump gas. This is not California 91, but yeah, I'd like to throw some ethanol in it, or even some Torco, just see what happens. We can quench that knockdown and play around a little bit. I honestly wish it did better if it was 9.5. I wish it had more torque. I mean, it ain't bad on torque. Here, let me get this pulled up somehow. I'm gonna figure it out. Give me a second. How can I show you guys everything? You cunt. Oh, I said the C word on air. Can I do that? Does the computer like listen for that word? I don't know. Honestly, it ain't bad. The torque is pretty freaking flat. I'm gonna grab my laptop and show you guys. Let me see. Make sure I'm unplugged from the ECU first. I'm gonna double check. Do one last store. Do another save, and then I just did it. I'm gonna disconnect, unplug, and carry the laptop over to the screen for you. I don't want to take that off. That's my microphone. Stuck though. Give me a second. All right. Old sucks. Don't do it. All right. Let's see if I can get the. One second. Yeah, just for a second, I want to show the final graph.
I'm on your weakness.
You're on my screen. See if I can get there. You guys see that? The torque is very flat. 175, 240-ish, 200. I mean, that's a flat torque, and the power climbs up like that. So I guess that's expected. Now, if we put intake on this, maybe exhaust. I mean, look at this now. I think that exhaust, well, either one's going to make a big difference, right? Either one's going to lower the pressure ratio across the turbocharger. If I lower the pressure ratio across the turbocharger, I reduce the exhaust pressure needed to drive it. Then I reduce back pressure on the engine, which frees up horsepower and makes it behave better. So, like, either one, exhaust or intake, is going to make a difference. Exhaust makes a difference because it lowers back pressure on the engine and the turbo, therefore making the turbo require, well, the turbo requires the same amount of pressure to run, but there's a difference pressure drop across the catalytic converter. So if I don't have that drop anymore, then the pressure at the back of the turbo goes down, which means pressure in front of the turbo can go down. Pressure in front of the turbo is the engine. So that makes it make more power too. So that's a benefit, right? So I can do exhaust or intake. I'm affecting different things, or I can do both at the same time, and that does as well. In this case, if we do both at the same time, I think we're going to run out of fuel. Yeah, I think we'll run out of fuel if we do both, but I'm not afraid to do both and try it and find out. But I think we'll run out of fuel on it. But like I said, I want to try some ethanol too, so maybe we throw some 725s in it. I got a set floating around somewhere. Throw some 725s in it, throw some ethanol in it, and put intake and exhaust on it and give it a shot. It's not my car though, so I can't make those decisions. But I think that'd be a fun time, and I think it'd be a good experiment for this engine car / setup. Especially with the link, being able to do whatever the hell I want with it. I think would really be a good time. So we'll keep you guys posted. Let me show you the car real quick. Just an 08. Just an 08 with a 2-liter. I'm just showing them the engine, how bad the intercooler is.
Oh, yeah. Show them the can lamp though.
Why?
The factory downpipe.
Oh, I didn't. Hear that fan blowing sounds. Where'd you put it? Oh, you like drilled it out?
Yeah, all heat shields, everything.
So you drilled through the heat shield and everything, and then put a bung in it?
Like factory.
That's cool. It looks good. I don't know if it's going to show up or not on the stream. I'm going to try. But yeah, so you drilled through the heat shields, welded a bung onto the downpipe, and it stuck it right there. That's a good spot.
Yep.
I like it.
It's also got all the factory heat shielding on the downpipe, all of it.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's been taken off.
Which we might be taking off soon.
Yeah, but for testing purposes.
So I think we should get a fuel pressure regulator like an 05 STI one, get rid of the deadhead, because I'm experiencing some of the GR leanness around 3,000 RPM. It's still happening. Get rid of the deadhead. Just throw some fucking ID725s in it. I'm pretty sure, I think there's a set in the drawer over there, or we had a set on the car, or I have a set somewhere.
We did DW750s that worked before.
Yeah, at least that works with the factory,
Yeah.
Connectors and stuff. Something like that, and put the intake on it, and throw some ethanol in it and see what happens. It's 9.5 to 1, right? So throwing some octane at it, it might just blow our fucking minds.
Yeah, it might be amazing.
It might be. And just give that a shot and see what happens.
Okay.
I think it'd be a good time.
Intercooler?
Yeah, I mean, definitely an intercooler that works. An IAT in the intercooler, because I need that. But I would really like to have both IATs.
No, we can have that.
But Link is funny. We can't use a regular analog input. It's got to be a temp input, which means it probably has to get wired into the fucking ECU to an expansion harness or some shit like that.
You shouldn't have to. So on that link, it has 4 aux outputs. You can switch from TGBs, O2 sensor, and map. You can pull them over, and then you can run a wire through that wire to them. So, like the...
Well, the temp inputs are different than the analog inputs.
What are those stupid things?
Jumpers?
Yeah, the jumpers.
Yeah.
Move.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so they're in OEM using all the stuff now, and you can swap them over to use whatever that wire is. But yeah, if it's a temp input, I don't know.
Because temps require different on the links. That's not a regular 0 to 5 input. It can be. Not in the happy way?
No, not in a good way.
Right. All right. All right, I think that's it. I turned it down because it was just knocking too easy. So this is where it's at now. So it didn't knock anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. But it just kept wanting to knock at 285.
Do you want to overlap like a good pull on like a station chart?
Sure. Let me get in the stream real quick.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Yeah, this guy said, wow, that intercooler. Oh, my shirt. Yeah. I'm one of those guys. Anyways, yeah, guys, thanks for sticking around. I'll see you around at the next one. I got some other cars. I got like 3 more standalone cars I got to tune. So I'll probably be tuning one tomorrow. Yeah, I got a bunch more cars to tune. So I'll be tuning one tomorrow. I think a Legacy on a Haltech with a 6-speed and some other shit done to it. And things like that. So I got some stuff in the future, and then I've got some parts I'm working on. I'm waiting on some estimates from machine shops and other people. I got to have custom parts made for these parts, obviously, but there's more to it. I'll explain later. But if you see my oil filter thing on Facebook, if not, come by the Discord. I got more pictures of it. Come by the Discord, check it out. I got a bunch of CAD drawings and simulations and things like that of the stuff that I am working on. And yeah, so I'll see you guys around. Thanks for coming.